Hello, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. Thank you so much for being here. Do check out our other videos here on the channel. Let's get started. We're on michelleblake.com, michelleblake.com. Looking at some great quotes about the King James Version. I'm so grateful I ran across this website. She's done an amazing job here. So this is by Dr. David Sorensen. I really like his books. I think you can get them from Sword of the Lord. He says this: the major problem in the Bible controversy is that many people in the pew and many in the pulpit do not understand that there are two Greek texts. There's the traditional Greek text, which can be traced right back to the beginning. There's the modern critical text, which is developed about 130 years ago. From the traditional text, there's only one major English Bible translation, the King James Bible. And there's nuances there. From the critical text comes virtually every other modern translation. It's not an issue of readability or particular version you prefer. One text is based on the true Word of God and one is not. And that's true. As a matter of fact, E.C. Colwell has shown there's really not even a such thing as a critical text. Because to be a critical text, a text grouping has to agree like 70% of the time. And the critical text does not do that. And there's hundreds of places they use in the critical text that has no Greek support at all, which is kind of weird. So Reuben Swanson, I think, that reveals that. So the steadfast endurance of the King James Bible. This is from Bernard Ram. Really like a lot of Ram's stuff. We had to read that in Bible school. Jews preserved it, talking about the Bible, and this is so interesting, as no other manuscript has ever been preserved. With their Masorah, or textual apparatus, they kept tabs on every letter, syllable, word, and paragraph. They had special classes of men within their culture whose sole duty it was to preserve and transmit these documents with practically perfect fidelity: scribes, lawyers, and Masoretes, and others before them like the Sophirim. 1,000 times over, the death knell of the Bible has been sounded, the funeral procession formed, the inscription cut on the tombstone, and committal read, but somehow the corpse never stays put. Like Voltaire, they printed Bibles in his house. He didn't destroy the Bible. No other book has been so chopped, knifed, sifted, scrutinized, and vilified unjustly. Listen to our Biblical Archaeology Today podcast, thousands proofs of the Word of God. What book on philosophy or religion or psychology or belles lettres of classical or modern times has been subject to such mass attack as the Bible, with such venom and skepticism, with such thoroughness and erudition upon every chapter, line, and tenet? The Bible is still loved by millions, read by millions, and studied by millions. Alexander McClure wrote a great book. I've done a review here, Translators Revived. And he says this: we hold that the translators enjoyed the highest degree of that special guidance which is ever granted to God's true servants in exigencies of deep concernment to his kingdom on earth. Such special succors and spiritual assurances are always vouchsafed, where there is like union of piety, of prayers, and of pains, to effect an object of such incalculable importance to the Church of the living God. The necessity of supernatural revelation to man of the divine will has often been argued in favor of the extreme probability that such a revelation has been made. Francis Schaeffer, for one. A like necessity, and one nearly as pressing, might be argued in favor of the belief that this most important of all versions of God's revealed will must have been made under his peculiar guidance and his provident eye. That's a great point. And the manner in which that version has met the wants of the most free and intelligent nations of the old world and the new may well confirm us in the persuasion that the same illuminating spirit which indicted indicted the original Scriptures was imparted in rich grace to aid and guard the preparation of the English version. Good stuff. William Murr, of all people. The English Bible is still fresh and mighty, even if it has archaic, obsolete words. It is waxed old, but it's not decayed. Its youth abides. The sun never sets on its sphere of influence. That's true. Many volumes have perished since it first saw the light, but its message is as modern as ever. It is not only kept up to date, it has anticipated every need of men and still responds to every new demand. Also, William Murray in the Grand Old Bible says, it has a divine touch, even in its diction, which lifts it above the limitations of locality and time, makes it valid and living for all ages. The Bible is trans-chronological, trans-geographical, transcultural. He also said this, the authorized version has often been called a well of English, undefiled, and much of its purity is due to the fact that its water was drawn from the ancient springs. It has the universal note which gives it a place among the immortals. We'll read one more by Ed Hills, who's got a Doctor of Theology and New Testament textual criticism from Harvard University. The Bible's not a modern human book. It is not as new as the morning newspaper. No translation should suggest this. If the Bible were this new, it would not be the Bible. On the contrary, the Bible is an ancient divine book, which nevertheless is always new because in it God reveals himself. Hence, the language of the Bible should be venerable as well as intelligible, and the King James Version fulfills these two requirements better than any Bible in English. So God bless you. Fall in love with that King James Bible. Love you. Bye-bye.